Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Satish. In fact, if you're following me, I couldn't post a video last week or so because I've been traveling. I was on vacation. Went to Meghalaya with my cousins to see some beautiful waterfalls and some wonderful caves in Meghalaya. So when I was planning this trip, right, I really didn't have to go to somebody to take leave, all of these things, because I'm kind of trying to work on my own and do some things that I like. The reason I'm able to do this is I am in a mode of something called FIRE. FIRE is nothing but it's called financial independent return early, retire early. Sorry, so that's what it stands for. So this is a new movement, I would say, in the last decade or so. You see a lot of people, jumping into this concept of FIRE. I mean, FIRE does not mean you are retiring early. At least you're getting the first part sorted out, right, which is being financially independent. And when you're moving from outside of India back to India, you really want to have that financial independence so that you could do some of the things that you always wanted to do, and maybe pursue some of these entrepreneurship goals or your time, do other things that you really wanted to do, right? So that's the whole point of moving from a high cost location to a low cost location. So what we will do in this video is look at a FIRE journey of myself, how kind of achieved it, and also look at what you can do and how to plan for that. How do the numbers look like, right? And what are some industry standards around that? So that's what we look at in this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. So first thing is to start with, what is FIRE? FIRE stands for Financial Independent Retire Early. So what it means is that you are having enough money so that you can technically retire on paper. What they mean by retirement is even if you sit and do nothing, you will be getting money in and you can keep spending that until you die. So that is the whole idea about FIRE. And the way FIRE became popular and the numbers became popular was based on a study that was done in Trinity College, Trinity University, right? And they did a study on this. And the numbers that come from Trinity Study is that, for you to retire, to get into this FIRE mode, or, you need about 25 times of your annual expenses. So what it means is that, let's say, for example, right, let's say your yearly expenses are about 20 lakh rupees. Then as per the study, you would need 20 times of 25. So that means that you need about 5 crores worth of corpus to be able to retire early. And what this assumes is that the way they come up with this is that you can safely withdraw about 4% of your corpus amount. Essentially, of these 5 crores, you can safely withdraw about 4% of the money every year. So that is the idea. And what they say is, if you get this corpus together, then you can technically, last with this corpus for about 30 to 35 years. And there are some caveats here, right? It assumes that the inflation is about 3%, the country inflation is about 3%. This because this was done in the Americas, right? And also the capital, basically the corpus that you have, grows about 7 to 8%. So that is the fundamental idea behind this Trinity study. So this is the rule of thumb that everybody uses. But, in context of India, it may not work because the expenses are high, the inflation is high, and also the numbers do not match up. And the way they've come up with 25 is basically 1 divided by 4% withdrawal. That's 1 divided by 4. That gives 25. So in our case, it will not be like 4. It will be like probably lesser. The reason for that is in inflation we expect it to be like anywhere from not 3%, definitely 4 or 5% or more, right? So in our context, let's say we put in a 3% withdrawal rate, then it is 1 divided by 3, right? So then you're looking at anywhere from 33%, 30 to 35x of your annual expenses. So let's say your expense is about annual expense is about 20 lakhs. Then you're looking at 20 times 30, that would be 6 crores, or if you're looking at 35, it will be slightly higher, anywhere from 6 to 6.5 or 7 crores, right? So that is what you're looking at, and the idea is you withdraw about 3% of that corpus, or 3 to 3.3% of that corpus every year, so that you can sustain. And again, you have to invest your money so that it doesn't lose to inflation. You need to be getting a minimum of 7 to 8% of a return on that, right? So this is how the metrics work, right? Now, in terms of, let's look at it from these are very good studies, they've been proven, a lot of people do that. But the reality is slightly different. So everybody can take a different approach. So in my case, I took a different approach. I'll share my journey, right? So my journey is, what I've done is instead of looking at it from a 25x standpoint, I created assets, basically, in fact, rental buildings, right? That gives me expenses that are sufficient for my living expenses. So that way what's happening is my day-to-day expenses are taken care from the rental income that I get from them. So that is one part. The second part, important part is, what I did was I did a calculation of how much money would I need for my kids' education, for my healthcare expenses and other miscellaneous expenses in the next 30 years, right? So if you look at if I put together all of these expenses as my corpus, technically my future expenses, I put them in the sheet, and that is basically the fund that I tried to save, so that I don't have to look at it. And whatever money I saved, instead of putting in some investment or again, you could do anything, right? But the idea is I wanted to have something that we can touch and feel, and that's why we kind of built buildings. So the return is usually in rental income is anywhere from 4 to 5% or 3 to 5%. So that's what it is. So it's not the greatest, but the beauty about that is you can adjust it with inflation. Let's say your inflation is going up, your rental income also goes up. So that is one of the things that's the beauty about investing in the real estate property, right? Or something that you build and you get rental income, right? So it kind of takes care of inflation to some extent, and not to the full extent, but that's the idea. So in simple, one of the approaches that I have, what of the approach I taken is, I've taken in my investments, put it in some buildings, and we built some buildings, and then on top of that, I made some savings so that my kids' education is taken care in the future. So this way I'm in a mode that I can actually free up my time to do what I really like to do. So just to try, right? I returned to India about 2 years ago, right? And close to 2 years now, not exactly 2, right? Or precisely 2. So if you see, I've tried 2 startups. Both of them have been failures, right? So one, tried a couple of startups, and the third idea I'm still working on, and I'm able to do some of these things that I really like. So the idea is I'm able to pursue some of these passions that I wanted to do. In fact, I'm learning guitar, and I'm doing some of the things that I could never do. I could never dream of doing. I'm able to go to a gym every day. I'm able to do meditation every day. So in a day, if you look at my schedule, it's pretty much anywhere from 6 to 7 hours or 5 to 6 hours is what I work. And vacation, essentially, like whenever there is an event, something happens, we try to attend. So there is no way of I actually looking that I cannot go to this and all of that, right? So in summary, if you want to go by the book, it is anywhere, if you're returning to India and you're looking at anywhere from 30 to 35x of your yearly expenses, with a 3 to 3.5% withdrawal rate. And again, this is assuming that you have a runway of 35 years, right? But if you want to be in the mode of fire even early, then you need a higher number, So this is assuming people are in like early 40s, 30s, so that 40 means you live up 75, 80, right? And again, you need to have health insurance and all of these things as well. But the idea is this is how it is. Just again, there is no universal law for this, right? So you look at your situation, you look at your expenses, and then come up with a number. So that's what it, folks. So again, plan this, when you have enough runway when you're outside of India, and then so that when you move back, you can actually take your time off and do what you really like. Again, thank you for watching. Do subscribe for getting regular updates.